Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to the final part of the reaction to ranking NFL starting quarterbacks in 2021. This was my prediction coming into the season, and now that we're at the end of it, let's look back and see the top 10 NFL quarterbacks according to me going into the season. I'm really excited for it. We did really well in that second part. I think, who was the only quarterback? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was the only one that didn't really fare well on that list. He should have been a lot lower, but the other guys, I think I did fairly well. So top 10, we'll see what happens. But thank you so much for this little series that we're doing. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Number 10 to number 1. I do remember like the top 5 quarterbacks because really like that hasn't changed a lot. But other than that, yeah, guys, hit the like button. Comment down below with your thoughts. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've been doing amazing as far as YouTube goes. 2021 was a great year for this podcast, and 2022 is going to be even better. Happy New Year. Hope you have a great year. Just dream big, man. Dream big. We're going to do an episode, a podcast with Kevin talking about New Year's resolutions, goals, dreams for 2022, and I got some big ones, man. I got some big ones, and it all has to do with this podcast. So thank you so much. Let's get into it. With number 10, Justin Herbert. Let's
Justin
take a look
Herbie.
back to the 2020 NFL draft, where Justin felt like the least talked about quarterback taken in that draft. Joe Burrow was the Heisman Trophy winner with a perfect LSU team coming off the championship win. Tua Tagovailoa. I do think Justin Herbert's a top 10 quarterback
at
this year.
Alabama. Jordan Love
I
was picked
I
in the
truly
first
believe
round,
that.
which shook Green Bay, and Jalen Hurts was taken in the second round for Philadelphia. There wasn't a lot of controversy when it came to Justin Herbert's pick at number 6. He had a very good college career with great numbers at Oregon and a situation where a new quarterback needed to come in past Phillip Rivers. All the Chargers wanted was time to let Herbert get comfortable in the league, know the playbook, learn under Tyrod Taylor. Holy shit, you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now in week 2 of his rookie season, given only minutes before kickoff, Justin Herbert became the starter versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending champions from the year prior. And guess what this guy did? 22 of 33, 311 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception in his first start in the NFL. I think it's fair to say that he exceeded everyone's expectations when he went on to break the rookie record for most touchdowns and completions in the rookie
very
season,
nice.
and it only got better as the year went along. Now in 2020, the offensive line is filled with a good combination of veterans and young talent, a healthy defense coming back this year, led by one of the best defensive minds in football, and new head coach Brandon Staley.
All right. Chargers did just lose to the Houston Texans, and they gave up like 40. Brandon Staley's defense with the Chargers has been so shockingly bad. It blows my mind that this guy led a Los Angeles Rams defense to being the top defense in all of football. And then all of a sudden he goes a little down the road to the Chargers, and suddenly their defense is one of the worst in the NFL. They give up a 40-burger to Houston. But that's neither here nor there. Justin Herbert, though. Still great.
love the head coaching move. I love the decisions that are being made in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I expect
give
big
him some
things
time.
in year 2.
They're going to be dangerous.
For the young kid Justin Herbert. Number 9,
Love Justin
Lamar
Herbert, though.
Jackson. The Ravens quarterback, who is soon to sign a huge contract, has the most bizarre stats of any quarterback in this league. In 2020, Lamar set the record for the most rushing yards in a season by a quarterback at 1,206 yards. He also became the first quarterback in NFL history to rush for over 1,000 yards in multiple seasons. And despite his reputation of being a running quarterback, as a passer, when he's locked in,
This cat could ball, man.
68 touchdowns to just 18 interceptions, a 102.6 passer rating, and a 64% completion percentage in his career so far. Here's the problem with Lamar, though. He needs to become a dual threat quarterback, not just a running quarterback that can throw. The Ravens will win a lot of games with Lamar's running ability and his running game. He's 30-7 through 3 regular seasons. However, until the Ravens and Lamar start to focus on the passing game and developing Jackson's arm, they won't win championships. The last 2 years, the Ravens have been one of the worst passing teams in the entire league. Last year, they were the worst.
Right there.
Only 171 passing yards per game. Lamar attempted 376 passes. We just talked about Justin Herbert. He completed 396 throws. Things need to change in Baltimore. Lamar is exposed in his playoff stats when teams are forcing him to throw downfield. He's only 1 of 3 in the playoffs so far. His completion percentage is just above 55. 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, only threw over 20 times once in those games. I want to set a challenge for this Baltimore team, and especially on Lamar Jackson, because I feel like he has a great arm, yet he doesn't know how to use it fully yet. But without a system that will challenge him to do so, nothing's going to change for Lamar Jackson. A running quarterback that can throw, that is amazing to watch, but when it gets down to the nitty-gritty of throwing the ball downfield, Lamar isn't there yet. I hope.
I mean, I still find that true. I think it's more of when the going gets tough and when things aren't going his way, the frustration that comes to Lamar Jackson just really hurts any chance of him, making the big throws down the field or making those critical throws. That's the problem with me. And I feel like Lamar Jackson this season, he finally beat Kansas City. That was one thing that has really hurt him his entire career so far, is not being able to get over the hump of the Kansas City Chiefs. But I think if they play the Kansas City Chiefs right now, they would get blown out. I'm not on this Baltimore hype train at all. And despite all the injuries they've had on defense and all the issues they've had offensively with all the injuries there too, like they're good. Like, props to them for getting this far and still being in the hunt and possibly being a playoff team. But I don't see this team being a threat in the playoffs. And I don't see Lamar Jackson getting any better as far as, like, when the going gets tough, he doesn't, like, crumble, or he just doesn't, let the bad things take over. When they lose some of these football games, you can see the frustration in Lamar Jackson, and that's just not what you want to see as a leader, as your quarterback. That's just my observation. But I still think he's a very talented quarterback. I still think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I feel like we're not getting any more progression at Lamar Jackson that we should get. We should see him become a way more accurate thrower, a way more critical, accurate thrower in those desperate times or in those critical points of the game.
Hope things change in 2021. Number 8, Kyler Murray. Lamar Jackson is a video game type of quarterback. Well, here's another one for you. He feels like a cheat code on Madden at some points during the season. This is a defining year for both Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, though. When we look at the last season for Kyler Murray, he improved his numbers in every which way possible. And now with a better offensive line, a plethora of weapons around him, and a defense on the rise, this should be Kyler Murray's best year yet. He is the dual threat that I wish Lamar was, with his ability to escape the pocket,
I would think so,
and
right?
Run, but still has the confidence to throw downfield. Sometimes it looks like he's back at Allen High School, just toying with these defenses. Yet what I think a lot of people underestimate about Kyler Murray is his confidence and his leading ability. DeAndre Hopkins came out and said that he loves when Kyler Murray gets on him, critiquing him, trying to make him better. And we're talking about the best wide receiver in the league, yet a quarterback with confidence has the balls to critique DeAndre Hopkins? This is one of the most explosive offenses in all of football, and it goes without saying that Kyler Murray is the reason for that. Number 7, Dak.
Like, pre-injury during the season, Kyler Murray is one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, right? It's just when he gets injured and he has to come back from that injury. It was the ankle, I believe, last year, or the shoulder, and he also had another injury this year. It might have been the shoulder as well. I might be wrong on that, but after that, you feel like a dip in his play, and he doesn't have that same impact in the game, same effect. And right now they're on a little bit of a losing streak, and it feels a little cold what's going on offensively, especially with D-Hop out. It's weird how much drop-off there is with Kyler Murray at the beginning of the part of the season where he's an MVP level type of guy, and then now where it's like, I mean, you wouldn't want anybody else out there other than Kyler Murray, but he has to play better. He has to protect the ball better. So, yeah, Kyler Murray's still a top 10 quarterback in my opinion, but he has dropped off from the last
the $40 million man himself, reigned
That's my quarterback.
Prescott. I will not allow any Dak Prescott hate on this YouTube channel.
Let me throw fair enough.
but there was that point of the season where he had to play better. And then he went out there and completely demolished the Washington football team. Some stats at you guys. He has the 6th highest touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history with a 2.65. Only below guys like Brady, Rodgers, and Watson. He's tied for the 2nd most game-winning drives in the first 4 years of his career. With 14, he's tied with Russell Wilson. So stop saying he's not clutch. In 2019, he had the highest completion percentage for passes over 20 yards, which was a huge weakness for him early on in his career.
They really
any
haven't done
Cowboys
much this
fan
season
will
with
tell you
the
that Dak's best attribute
big throws.
is his leadership. He's right there with Russell Wilson. He is loved in the locker room, loved by the city, loved by the front office. He exudes what you want in a franchise quarterback. I will always make this point that if Dak was on a different team, any other team in the NFL, everybody would praise him. But because he's a Cowboy, you're going to criticize everything that he does. But how can you judge a man that literally after breaking his ankle, he was back in the locker room, back at the training facility with his teammates, trying to get them back on track to get a winning season? Without Dak, I don't know what this Dallas Cowboys team is. He embodies this franchise of what they should be.
They always have
and
Cooper
what they are
Rush.
expected to be, and he will win Comeback Player of the Year in 2021.
Damn right.
Number 6.
I mean, he already
Josh
won
Allen.
that.
I was wrong about this guy. I wasn't a fan of him coming out of Wyoming, and it was purely based on his accuracy issues. Can you blame me for that? But boy, was I wrong. Allen did something that you love to see in an athlete.
think
They focus on their weaknesses and get better.
Oh man, that's hard. Would
Talking to you, Ben Simmons.
Jesus Christ.
In 2018, Allen showed
I would
flashes of
switch Dak
potential.
and Josh at
However,
this
he
point.
ended with a
Just in this
50-20
list,
completion
I would
percentage
switch him.
and more interceptions.
I think Dak's played
and
better than
touchdowns.
Josh
In 2019,
overall this
he
season.
improved but failed to crack the 60% mark on his throws. But in 2020, Josh Allen was en fuego. He skyrocketed his completion percentage by over 10% and was the 10th best deep passer in all of football. The Bills went on a crazy run, going 13-3 in the regular season, and Josh Allen had a strong case for MVP at some point during that season. But it's definitely a sight to see an athlete, and especially a quarterback, that was criticized for his accuracy issues, especially down the field. And continuously, year by year, he is getting better.
This
and
year,
better.
it's more about the
He's got the
consistency,
arm,
not just him,
he's
but the
got
whole
the
Bills
legs. And this
team.
Buffalo Bills team is starting to grow a culture there. Josh Allen
Just a
proved
little-
me
I just
wrong.
want some
And I know
consistency,
for
you know?
a fact that in 2021, he won't be a one-hit wonder. Take notes, Ben Simmons.
Damn right.
Number 5, Russell Wilson. He is one of the pioneers for this.
Well,
future
Russ was out
generation
from
of
most of this year.
quarterbacks. Entering his 10th
And he's on a
season,
bum
we
organization.
know what Wilson will bring to the table.
So
One of
I
the
would put
most
him lower.
talented quarterbacks and best leaders at his position.
I made a list at work because they were asking me who would you take right now, and I think I put Russ right inside top 10. But if it's based on the play of the season, obviously he's not a top 10 quarterback. It's just wait till next year when he goes to Denver, goes to Washington, if he goes to Carolina. He'll be a top 5 quarterback again.
He's thrown for over 30 plus touchdowns in each of the last 4 seasons and has thrown less than 10 interceptions in 5 of those seasons. Despite a 2020 with some questionable throws and decision making, Russ still threw 40 touchdowns to just 13 interceptions, including a first month of a season that was MVP worthy. But Wilson isn't in charge of Seattle's success. It's the offensive line. He publicly said that he is frustrated by the amount of times he has been hit. Who knows if those trade rumors were in fact true? This guy was just speaking the facts. Seattle allowed 48 sacks, which was tied with Joe
Let
Burrow's
Russ
bane.
cook.
Seattle has
Somewhere
made
else.
some changes into
Not in
the
Seattle.
upcoming season.
Either
with Brian
Pete Carroll or
Schottenheimer
Russ
out
leaves
as
next year.
offensive coordinator and bringing in Shane Waldron. Some changes were made to the offensive line. However, how can we really judge that those will make drastic changes to the protection of Russell Wilson?
they didn't.
Wilson's 35. He isn't getting any younger. A potential opt-out in 2022 and a salary cap hit that is enormous to the Seattle Seahawks. I don't see Russ finishing his career off in Seattle. Expect more of the same out of Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks team in 2021, including a great regular season with a bunch of wins, but not getting over the hump of getting
How does
to an
2
NFC
sound, Bubba?
championship or Super
'Cause that's
Bowl.
all they got.
We could really see Russ's final year in Seattle.
Oh,
Number 4,
ended
Deshaun
really well.
Watson. I don't know whether or not to add Watson to this list.
Let's just skip ahead a little bit.
Up in the air for Watson, but one thing I can guarantee is the Houston Texans will be just fine without him. They got Tyrod Taylor. Number 3,
There you go.
Tom Brady. Through the
Hey, low key though,
Rivers,
Tyrod Taylor balling.
Ben Roethlisberger's,
And they got
Peyton
benched.
Manning's. Who knew the 199th overall draft
Look at that
pick
speed.
would be the one standing tall in the end and still balling out in 2021? 4,633 passing yards, 40 touchdowns.
He's my MVP. He truly is my MVP this year.
Passer rating.
He's
at the
44
age of
years old, man.
43. This man just can't be stopped.
Oh.
Every starter is coming back for Tampa in 2021.
looking
It
at
took
him.
Brady half the season to get adjusted to Arians' system that is difficult even for the GOAT, but the Bucs peaked at the right time. They are the overwhelming favorites this year, and I don't know how you can think otherwise. They have the one constant that is doubted every single year and proves everybody wrong. So why does that stop now at 43? 7 rings in, and he's still hungry. Stop hating and appreciate the history TB12 is making. He's not done, and I can't wait to tell my grandchildren one day that I witnessed the greatest quarterback of all time. Shit, at this point, he still might be playing at that time. Number 2, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Speaking of a guy that ain't done yet, it's this guy. He's got
He
a
ain't
ways
done
away
yet.
from 43. But at 37, Rodgers might be playing his best football right now. In
It
his
is,
third
yes.
MVP year, Rodgers threw 48 touchdowns, which is the most in his career, while only throwing 5 interceptions. He also had the best completion percentage in the league with a 70.7. As of right now, Rodgers is the most gifted passer I have ever seen in my life. So it makes a lot of sense to draft a quarterback in the first round of one of the greatest wide receiver classes we've ever seen.
Of course.
When you look at the 3 franchise quarterbacks in Packers history, Bart Starr, Brett Favre, and now Aaron Rodgers, they all played 16 seasons with the team. The first 2 that I mentioned didn't come back for a 17th year in Green Bay. This is Aaron's 17th year in the league, and it's not looking good for Green Bay. It's not clear where Aaron will play, but whatever.
This was peak, I'm either you're trading me or I'm retiring. That's crazy. Oh man, and then especially after week 1 against that loss to the Panthers or to the Saints, excuse me. Oh man.
Whatever happens,
man.
this guy is having a pretty good career for being just a game show host.
That's all he is.
And number 1, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, come on. Who else? After another amazing year with over 4,700 passing yards, 38 touchdowns, another Super Bowl
For 2
trip,
months, this wasn't
Patrick
the
Mahomes
case.
is not a comet that will come and go. He is signed all the way until 2032. This guy is here for the long haul. It's ridiculous how many records and achievements he has to his name at just the age of 26. He literally said he didn't understand how to read a defense till halfway through the 2019 season. That was after a 50 touchdown season in 2018. If medicine for health and fitness is helping Brady play at a high level at 43, then what will it be for Mahomes in 14 years at the age of 40? We've only scratched the surface of what this man can do. I just mentioned 2 of the best to ever do it in Rodgers and Brady, and yet I am putting a 26-year-old kid at number 1. We are nowhere near the ceiling. We are only getting a glimpse of the potential of what Patrick can bring to the table. And if there's anybody that could potentially take the throne from Tom Brady at some point, we are seeing the best example of it in Kansas City.
Wow. Very well said by me. Oh, I liked how I described that. I mean, he did have that cold part of the 2021 season, and the Chiefs were just turning the ball over all the time, and something clicked after the midway part of the season. If we're being honest, yes, Patrick Mahomes has been playing extremely better as of late, but I would switch those around. I would actually keep Aaron Rodgers second, and then I'd switch Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So Tom Brady, for me, is the number 1 quarterback in the league because he is my MVP. He's 44 years old and still playing at a high level, unless he plays the Saints. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this series, reacting to ranking NFL starting quarterbacks, my predictions from earlier in the year. I think we did really well. I'm actually really surprised at how well we did. When we missed, though, we missed pretty bad. But that was awesome. I think I'm going to do some more reaction videos. I really want to do a reaction video to the Justin Fields video because we reached over 10,000 views on that. And I don't know if I'll ever get past that in my entire lifetime. So I'm really proud of that video, and I want to celebrate that. So keep watching or keep track of the YouTube channel, and maybe you'll see that soon. But like I said, 2022 is going to be an amazing year for this podcast, even better than 2021. And I'm so glad to have you guys here, all 147 of you as of right now, which is crazy to me because we've been racking up a lot of subscribers as of late. So thank you guys so much for watching, for supporting me, and we'll see you next time on the Bubble Sports Podcast YouTube channel.